Well, Chris, it's a really exciting time at Burnley Football Club, and the latest bit of positive news is that our academy's been granted Category 1 status. Just how significant of an achievement is that?
It's a really big achievement for the club. It's we're now be playing in the elite leagues of the Premier League 2, the academy under 18s, and it gives us a chance to challenge ourselves against the best teams in the country. And it's an exciting time for everybody involved, the players, the staff, and like I say, everybody at the club really.
So for supporters who might not be overly familiar, just talk us through what Category 1 means firstly and what we've had to do to get to this point.
Yeah, so you have to go through a very stringent auditing process, covering all aspects of the club, of the academy, so coaching, education, player care, safeguarding, performance support. And it identifies that we're at a level that is identified as being Category 1, which is the best in the country. So it's really significant for the club. It's identified that what we've got in place is very, very good at this moment in time.
Of course, in football clubs, on-field performance is always important, but I know we're particularly proud of the off-field support we offer. Just talk us through that part of PJAC's feedback.
Yeah, I think becoming a professional footballer and being part of a football club and academy isn't just about the on-field stuff. Yeah, we do ultimately it's about developing footballers for our first team and for the wider game and return on investment, etc. But I think as far as we're concerned, we have that duty of care to make sure that a holistic process is in place. So the development of the person, I think, is massively important, and we really focus a lot, giving the player the psychological support, the player care, education is very important to us. So all the stuff that players need off the pitch is as important for us to make sure that, like I say, the development of the person ultimately is taking place, and like I say, we place a lot of value on that, a big value on that.
And how much of this achievement has been down to the efforts of our wider staff team, whether that be various departments, full-time, part-time, casuals?
Everybody's played a massive part, Ash. I think it's very, very important to say and recognise that everybody's played their part in this, because when you get the audit report back and it's so positive and you look at, did we need the audit report to tell us that? It's nice to have it confirmed, but we actually know, and I know we've got some outstanding staff. Everybody, I got asked the other day what it means to be part of a word that means part of an academy, and I think that one of the words is obsessed. And I think what we've got here is obsessed staff that are obsessed with helping to develop young players, young children, to become a better version of themselves, and help them in their career, help them in their lives, help them in everything they possibly can. And I think we've got an outstanding staff structure, and we've got outstanding members of staff, should I say, that just want to help develop people more than anything. I think that's a real important thing to say. And obviously with that comes the development of the player, hopefully. And hopefully we can get more players into the first team. That's the main objective. So we have to start developing more of our own players and raise that productivity figure.
If we can focus on the professional development phase for a moment. Both our 21s and 18s have had really successful seasons on the pitch, haven't they? How impressed have you been with their performance?
Yeah, we've got some really talented individuals. It's not about developing teams as far as I'm concerned, and I've made that perfectly clear. However, it is a reflection of we must have some good players in there and some good coaching, that when the 18s have won their league, the under-21s finished second, and we're in the playoffs. Both teams are in the playoffs, leading forward over the next couple of weeks. So some really exciting talent, and I would say coming through as well underneath that, there's some really some exciting players coming through, and that's what it's about. We want to give the fans something to cheer about. Everybody wants a homegrown player. Everybody loves homegrown players. They've got a connection with the club, and that's what the fans ultimately want to see. And I'm really, really positive for the future. And like I said, just getting this Category 1's probably just the start of it. We've got to now make sure that we continue the good work that's gone on already, and continue to build and move forward.
You've mentioned the pathway a couple of times. It's easy to focus on 21 stepping up to the first team, but we have 17s playing for the 21s, 14s for the 16s. Just how prominent is that within our system?
It's something I firmly believe in. It's something that I was exposed to, and when I was a young player at United and it challenges players. It's exciting for them. It has to be done in the right way. It has to be a plan. There has to be a plan in place for that to happen. But I think, like I said, stretching players, giving them the opportunity to play with older players, I think is important. But also as well, we have a philosophy where they can go and play with the older players and challenge themselves, but they can come back to their own age group, be the better players, still get regain that confidence, try things, and it's really important in player development that they are exposed to different challenges throughout that pathway.
It's important not to forget, of course, that we do run an academy from under 8s upwards. Just how important is that phase of our programme here?
Oh, really important. It's called the foundation phase for a reason. That's the foundation of our programme. It's the foundation of our academy. And again, looking at the recruitment that's been taking place over the last 6 months, I would say last 12 months, some really exciting players coming into that phase. That, like I say, is the foundation for us. But then leading forward, we've developed a programme where we're in the process of identifying players that we can take out of school a little bit more to give us more contact time, but it's not at the detriment of their education programme. We will backfill their education, so we will give them extra education lessons, but having more contact time with those players, which will allow them to train with the older age groups, and like I say, just allow us to work more with the players that we think have got real potential, and hopefully one day will play for our first team.
With that Category 1 achievement, just how important has the club's ownership been in that achievement?
Absolutely brilliant. To have the backing of the ownership that they've given us has been it's been fantastic. To have that support throughout the audit as well. There's an interview process, so all the members of staff, players, parents are interviewed by the auditors. The chairman was interviewed, Paul Jenkins was interviewed, and the support that they give us throughout that, not just that 4 days, but throughout the whole process has been outstanding, and hopefully we can start to reward them with that support and start to create some more players for the first team.
With that in mind, obviously now we've achieved Category 1, you mentioned players stepping up to the first team, but what is the sort of overall ambitions for this academy going forward?
Yeah, ultimately that's the ambition, to develop players for our first team and have that return on investment that has been very significant by the ownership. We want to give that back to the club, and like I say, I think being at a club where that's happened and been part of that, the connection with the club and the fans is massive, and the community. When we came through at United and that, the fans are brilliant with you. They want to see their own players playing in the first team. There's no greater feeling as well. No greater feeling as a young player coming through a system, coming through an academy and making their first team debut. And we want to try and fulfil that ambition of the club, because ultimately, as far as the academy is concerned, that's what we want to do.